Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? I was wondering about your comment, Krista. Thank you for clarifying. You're good here. You're God there. You definitely are a goddess, my dear. You are definitely goddess. Hey, Kitty, how are you? Krista, thanks for being here at work, from work. Welcome in. Who else did I see? Catherine. Where are you? Yes, good days for everybody. Kitty. Who else? I know there's a few other people. Welcome, Margie. Welcome in. Thank you for doing the number thing, the YouTube things. Everybody click the like if you could. It's a small crowd here today. So come on in. We're gonna go back to how was my holiday? Oh, I told you I would take pictures. Want to see some pictures? It was good. It was shorter than expected. I decided to come back on my own. Like I decided to come back. Bridget stayed up, met oh no, sorry. I'm just reading local news. Man in Ottawa River, a missing man missing in the Ottawa River here in the city I'm in. Well, across the river. Donna, how are you? Nice to see you, sweetie. After jumping in to assist a woman in distress in the water, he's now disappeared. Um, Old McMary's journal. Hello, nice to see you. Nice to see you. Hello, Becky. How are you? Yeah, I tried to start Sebastian on well, you know what I did, Kitty? Because I decided I needed a bang cut, and then I ended up giving myself bangs again. I used to have bangs years ago, so whatever. So it's just the gray and then sun. But yes, I so it's not necessarily lighter, maybe other than it's grayer because of the sun. Just this part's gray, this part's lighter, but yeah. I'm glad you're doing well. I'm glad you're doing well. So, yeah, I was doing the live Thursday before I left to go to town and lost power and wasn't able to do the recordings of the readings that I was going to do. So I did those earlier today. They will be released tomorrow because I'm babysitting my grandson tomorrow and then I'll be live again Wednesday. So we're doing two lives today, Sebastian now, and then Jack and Lily at 7 p.m. Thank you, Krista, at Eastern. And tomorrow, I've already done the videos. Look for those for Jack and Lily and Sebastian. Interesting one for both of them. And yeah, I had a great holiday. Thank you. Bridget stayed up for today, and she said I could, but I just decided to come back and get caught up since we lost power. I was a little bit behind. So I'll show you a few pics, and then um, thank you, honey. Thank you. Thank you. I feel super relaxed. I feel super relaxed. It's I was telling y'all this property. I was there last summer. So if you followed me last summer, I went there. Becky, well, we're gonna go back to Sebastian. I miss you a lot too. What I've decided for now, y'all take me with a grain of salt because like I said, if you're new to this channel, it's like a magical carpet ride because it really is. I really am learning to live more in flow with my own energy after recovering. My dad just passed away from PTSD and trauma and everything else. So I say it, but I'm hoping for now that I might separate the tarot from because I just want to get accurate readings. And it's hard to stay grounded and connected when you're getting pulled into chat. And so for now, I think we're going to do Sebastian and Lily. We're going to alternate times and days of the week. I don't know that I'll do two lives every day. We'll see how it goes today. Maybe if there's news to do, and then readings as well. I still have to figure out the members live. I was going to do it tomorrow so I could prepare for it, but now I'm babysitting. So I'm going to do the members live probably Wednesday, and and then we might do two kind of back to back because I'm thinking two a week for members live. If I do a video on the meditation exercises that I want to give you to increase your intuition and your psychic ability, and then do an update in the week if there's Q&A. Then one would be pre-recorded and then one Q&A. And if there's not enough people for the Q&A, maybe I make the Q&A every 2 weeks. And that way I'm not sort of waiting for people to show like so that's how I've just sort of been trying to plan that in my head. And so I'll probably do it that way. I think that makes more sense. Thank you, Donna. Yeah, it was really unexpected. Anyway, all that to say, so it was the first time since my dad passed. I've been up there before, and it's a beautiful cabin. They have had it in the family for years. The street is actually named after their family, not Bridget's mom's maiden name. And her uncle owned it, and my friend, her sister Felice. Um, and they bought it from their uncle because he had let it debilitate. And so it was originally built, I think it's the late 1800s or very early 1900s. And so when they bought it, it was like completely like collapsed in, like they got to grandfather it so close to the lake, you never get that anymore. It's 2 acres on the lake, and it's at the point of land, and it's beautiful lake. It's clear, clear, clear water. The loons are out like constantly, and they're at the point in the bay of the lake. So there's a bay of the lake, and then there's like mini bays in the bay that they're in, and then the big open lake. So you don't get there's a you get a few, like we had some sea doers, and you get pontoon boats and fishing boats, but you don't get the big boats in their bay. So it's lovely, and I'll show you some pictures since I said I would take pictures, and then we'll start the live. So that was just one of the sunsets in their sunroom. So it's like this point, because it's a point of land, like you literally they're on, like you drive down, it's 2 acres, and then there's this rock drop off here, let's just say this side, and it goes around the front and into this bay. Like it's this huge, so there's like a rock here that drops off high, so you can jump off there into the lake, and then it goes around the bend. You can kind of slide off parts of the water, and then it goes down into a sand beach. It's wild, a natural sand beach. So it's really quite a spectacular. You can't even see. It does not do it justice there. You can't, there, get a better picture of the, um, and like, yeah, they have lights on, and that's like, they built this as an additional, solarium, sunroom that they built, uh, from it. But pictures of my dad that kept popping up the whole weekend. There was me laying in the hammock. So you're only allowed one opening to the lake. So there's this open rock. So the land association might want them to cover up this open rock face where no trees will grow with trees. Bridget was like, "Are you kidding me?" Because they have the open access to the beach. And I'll show you. There's me in the solarium. They have like this outdoor kitchen like you would see in Costa Rica or whatnot in the solarium, as well as inside. There's electricity, no running water. So you go to the outhouse and yeah. Anyway, there's lots of that. Let me show you some of the outside, more sunset. And I did take a bunch the next day. So that's just the view from their dock. And the water is like crystal clear. And there's the view from under when you get out from, like, there's trees covering the beginning of the dock. You actually have to like go under the trees to get to the dock. It's like this little opening. Whoops. This little opening. And yeah, and then that's the bay beside them. So they've got the rock face on one side and this big open bay. They've got like 2 acres and like 1,000 feet of shoreline or something. It's wild. You'd pay a lot of money for it today. That's how far the neighbor is. That's how far the neighbor is. So it's there's the rock face, some of the rocks. Like that's what you see from the water, except that open side. And yeah, and it's super lots of birds, like ducks, loons, frogs. There's my car. You can see how you can get to the dock, but you have to peek out. Like it's because you're only allowed one open, which is great. Look how clean the water is. They're trying to maintain, and there's a view of the log cabin. So they have this drive down, and there's a picture of, I was telling you they have the best outhouse known to man. So they designed, there's a path here. You go up to the outhouse, and it's up in it's up in Quebec near Gracefield, and towards Lac Cayman, Quebec, where my grandparents used to have their hotel. I actually drove on the way out, drove home, and the hotel has been turned into apartments. Anyway, rental apartments. Because I grew up 10 minutes going to weekends at the hotel down the road. So it's like um, natural beach, and it's like no grass to maintain because of the pine cones. And they built, there's the picture of it from the back, and they built this outhouse that, yeah, there's like solar lights, like Edison lamps in the trees, and there's like a gravel pathway up, and they have like a gnome and like little pieces on the way up. And I gave Bridget some things that my dad in his outdoor Florida room of like a native face sculpture, like, but they're not rust, they're in like metal, so they don't like be outside, they're weatherproof, and of turtle. And so they added those to the path on the way up, and so it's like you're this little fairy mystical walk up to the best outhouse you've ever seen. It's wild. Anyway, it's the nicest outhouse I'd ever seen. So yeah, very, very pretty. I told you I would take some pictures. So they added that deck on, but they also, because the property was so old, got to grandfather in the rules by rebuilding it. That's why they couldn't like enlarge the inside. They could add the closest they could go for that extra addition to the water was the deck, but they could also, there's Bridget in the water. They could also floating. They could also, that's an island way out there. That's an island. And then you go around, there's around the island, and then the lake goes both ways. There's Bridget floating. Yeah, so in the morning, like 5 o'clock in the morning, the dew's coming up the water. And because they have massive dock spiders and big ass spiders at night, they built like a urinal toilet for the sunroom at night when you don't want to go up in the middle of the night, especially if we're drinking. So they have like a bucket with a toilet seat that clips on. Like I don't know where they bought it, Home Depot or something. It's like your outdoor toilet, it has a lid. So you just have to go pee in the bucket at night, and then we clean the bucket out in the morning so you don't have to deal with, because the spiders up there are freaking huge. Yeah, so that's the cabin on the back side. And it's just perfect because there's no there's not a lot of maintenance like to the property, you know. And then you can kind of see out the side, you can see the extension on the corner, on this corner here, overlooking the side that drops off, that's got no trees, or you can jump. Yeah, there, another viewpoint. So there's a little deck off the side with a barbecue as well. So it's like a deck that runs like an L and then into the big screen and porch. Anyway, we'll get back onto the topic at large, but I told you I'd take some pictures. It's just, to me, it's really stunning. I like it in its natural state. They had things on the shoreline, like a flower pot. They had to remove it because you can't have, within a certain perimeter of the shoreline, certain feet of the shoreline, you can't have, there's my dad, he keeps popping up. That's one of my favorite pictures of him. Um, You can't, his hair on end when he was golfing. Every time he pops up, I'm taking a picture because it's like I'm trying to keep track of. I have thousands and thousands of pictures, and just my dad's are the ones that have been popping up. So it's really cool. Dad saying hi. Anyway, there's another few. Anyway, it's fun. It was a lot of fun. It was needed, and they're lucky to have it. So let's get into. I'm lucky to be able to go up there. I want to show you something. We're going to start back with Sebastian. So if you're looking for a reading, I know everybody says that. If you're looking for a reading on Sebastian, that'll be loaded tomorrow. I will continue to do readings. For now, we're going to just go look at some interviews. We'll see how I'm doing with my accuracy. I'll judge it in the next week or so, and we'll see if I want to pull readings. But right now, I'm going to I want to see, well, let me go this route. I'll tell you what the reading was a little bit. I'm going to give you a bit of a focus. How's that? We'll give us a focus. I have, if you're new here and you don't know how I work, I have never really investigated a case per se or followed a case per se as much as Sebastian as I did. Normally, when I work a case with the Find Me group or cases, we're not really allowed to go and look at social media or anything. So, I channeled him a lot. I thought he was deceased because I've never channeled a live person, and now I'm not so sure it's not telepathy. So I know I sound crazy, but it's just been the Sebastian thing's been a wild, wild, wild ride, a really crazy experience for me. And so when I was one of my last visions, I don't know, you'll have to tell me here if I made it public or not. I don't remember. I feel like I did announce it on a live, but it was like in passing. It wasn't like I did a specific video on it. But I had received, didn't even go and look for the email because I just want to tell you, I don't want to divulge this person's email to me without her consent, without like, I'm just going to give you the nuts of it, not the details. And not a lot of the details. I'm just going to give you the big pieces without her permission. But I got this email in the case about somebody that I'm sure I've mentioned it before, but let me know. Somebody that had a family member cruising around Europe for the summer, and they thought for sure on their cruise line was a family with Sebastian Rogers. And the email was quite lengthy and gave quite a lot of detail. And I'm pretty sure I passed it on to somebody that would get it to Seth, but I don't know for sure because at the time, I don't know whether we were in focus on the audio clip, the audio. I don't remember at the time what I was focused on, but I was seriously focused on some avenue with respect to the case. And so I didn't tap into the energy. I didn't give it thought. And if you don't know how psychic mediums work, at least I don't necessarily, like I have to be tapped in and I can't be tapped in 24/7. I do get hits when I don't like ask for them. Absolutely. Like I was walking with my grandson the other day with Levi and I showed y'all and told y'all a picture last week. And I think it was Wednesday or Thursday last week. And I said, we were walking. I said, Levi, just keep going for a minute. And Nanny has a feeling that we're going to run into a stream. And sure enough, the trail ends at a stream. So I just got this hit. So, but I mean, I can't claim that that's the case all the time. So I did not get any hit either way with this email. I really just didn't get a vibe as whether it was accurate or not. And I didn't take the time or have the time at the time to tap into the energy of it. So then I get this vision of Sebastian that, again, I don't know if I've said this before or not, but I get this vision and I'm like, I'm Sebastian and I'm looking out a porthole of a ship. And it felt like a cruise ship porthole. And I was starting to get stuff in readings about a view out of the water and at ground level and like maybe a porthole kind of thing. Oh, you heard it first? Oh, first you heard of this? Okay. Well, I told Jen, Seth's friend, Jen that has Astrology for Mystics channel. I definitely told Jen because she and I were talking about my vision. Donna, you remember, hon? Thank you. Okay. So because I feel like, and this is why last week, thank you. Okay, so I'm not going nuts. Thank you. Okay. Um, I feel like my readings are more accurate with Jack and Lily right now because I don't feel as stressed as, even though I've had, moments of stress with my dad's passing. Don't need to go there in the last few weeks, yes. But generally, I feel like I'm channeling my messages more clearly, or I'm interpreting them more clearly. Like my lockjaw has cleared. A lot of the symptoms from the PTSD, like the odd time I'll get like a little bit of a, but generally my lockjaw is clear. So I think I'm just getting clearer and better interpretations and readings lately. So with that said, I wanted to go back to Sebastian. So that's the reading of on location I did earlier today that will drop. So with that in mind, my first theory on Sebastian was that he was kidnapped, but it was like an arranged kidnapping. I want to show you all because I've also shown this before for anybody that hasn't seen it or will watch this in replay. Also put your number on the like if you could in replay or in the comments. I want to show you something. I don't know if you guys have seen this. I'm pretty sure I have shown y'all. This is the FBI. Hang on, maybe I'll just go back out. This is the FBI flyer. I'll just show you the website because I wanna see if I can. I gotta stop that and go the whole thing over again. So bombastic. Okay. So this is the FBI's website. Now, I've said this before, but I find this very curious because this was put out not long after Sebastian went missing. Hello, Corinne Danielle. How are you? When you go to download their flyer, so right here, download poster English, can y'all see what it says up here in the box up at the top in the savings? Like if I was to save it now, it says in the top the toolbar, okay? FBI.government/wanted/kidnap Sebastian hyphen Wayne hyphen Drake hyphen Rogers. Kidnap. The FBI saved this file with the word kidnap, not disappearance, not runaway, kidnap. So I always found this very interesting. Does that mean that they really thought and still maybe think the FBI think that it's a kidnapping? I just wanted that to bring that to your attention. But Sebastian, before we go into watching, so we're going to go back and watch some interviews tonight. I want to go back and see if anything gives new clues, maybe a new theory. Uh, I don't know. But I don't want to give away too much without you seeing the reading tomorrow. I'm not going to give away too much. But Sebastian was reported missing February 26, 2024 from Hendersonville, Sumner County, Tennessee. His date of birth, December 8, 2000, or December 7th, sorry, mine's December 8th, December 7th, 2008. Is blonde or brown hair, brown or hazel eyes, 5'5", 120 pounds, and now Dog the Bounty Hunter and At Night Investigates are also have a $450,000 reward out, I believe, or 400,000. So the FBI also have a $550,000 reward. So if you see this video and you happen to recognize Sebastian, please call tips to, well, I would like to say Dog the Bounty Hunter or the FBI, because I'm not sure how much the TBI really is looking at investing or looking at finding Sebastian Rogers. But do what you will. I'm not going to, um, no, hear of Brett in this case. No, I don't know who Brett is. So now we're going to go in. I want to watch some interviews and just see. I don't know if you guys will have seen these, but I want to just see if we can get some new clues over some of these interviews. Jack and Lily for later for tonight, whoever wants to attend for that. I have planned to go back and watch what we were cut off from and do an analysis on who is Uncle Larry, because a couple of you sent me videos, Donna and someone else, Brenda, I think, on a woman who claims that Larry is also a neighbor and the gentleman that put that video together. So we're going to go through that tonight on Jack and Lily. And if there's time, really try to get, I never got from Blaine's World those visual locations, but I'm going to look for a waterfall and I'm going to leave it there if we have time tonight. So don't let me forget that. So, okay, let's listen to this interview that was done on April 3rd, 2024, or sorry, March 4th or April 3rd on Justin's channel. Actually, we're gonna go, let me go to, do you want to watch Justin's interview or do you want to watch Nancy Grace? I think I'm gonna go to, yeah, you tell me, but let's go to let's keep going with what we were gonna do. Let's keep going. I hope Justin's gonna be okay with.
Came up during that interview is the fact, before I do that, it's been brought to my attention that I am terrible at promoting anything that I do. So please, if you are on YouTube, find the podcast. He is living on very little sleep. I don't know how he's running other than probably Secrets for Adults.
So this is not Clutch Them Pearls, so I apologize. This is a different Justin. It's got a spreadsheet here, and it's Justin on TikTok. I didn't read it properly. My apologies. So I actually have not seen this, so let's watch this together.
Both of those can be ordered from that website. You can pre-order the other one along with merch, find the podcast, etc. So before I bring Seth on, I want to talk a couple things that have happened since we scheduled this live. Seth, I'm sure a lot of y'all have seen by now. If not, I'll tell you. I did an episode with Nancy Grace. And one of the things that came up during that interview is the fact, if you haven't seen it yet, is that Nancy Grace offered Chris Proudfoot a interview, or sorry, not an interview. Offered Chris Proudfoot a lie detector polygraph, which on air he said he would take. And then when came time to take it, Nancy Grace jumped through all the hoops to make that happen. He said that the TBI told him that he can't take it, which I'm just going to say I call BS on that one right now. Before tonight, I've
Becky, I don't know where you've been, but that's been an outstanding theory for quite a while. So if you want to go back and get caught up, the best thing to do would be to go watch the older videos of Sebastian, because I haven't talked about that for a long time. Hey, Lloyd Lama, how are you?
been out there. I was with one of the search days that Seth was out there. I was not with his team, but I was with another team that was out there. And I'm going to tell you what, this man is an absolute trooper. He hurt himself and he kept going. He is living on very little sleep. I don't know how he's running other than probably just pure adrenaline at this point. So anyways, without further ado, let's bring him on and we'll start talking some questions. Hey, Seth, how's it going?
Yeah, it's going.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we don't have to do the pleasantries on that. I know it's not going well for you. We're over a month of you not having any rest, right? Constant interviews, constant everything.
Constant something. I don't know what it is, but I don't wish it upon anybody.
No, what you're going through is a parent's absolute worst nightmare. Before we get started, I don't think you need any introduction, obviously, but before we get started on questions and things like that about Sebastian, who this is really about, is there anything that you want to say to the people before we start?
Thank you. Thank you, all those that are helping me find my son. Thank you for everybody who's showing up to search. Thank you, everybody who's putting out flyers, even where they live. Every little piece helps. I want my son's name and face plastered everywhere. And if somebody out there is watching this and you have my file, he's mine. I need you to just drop him off at an open gas station and tell him to go inside and tell him who he is and tell him to call 911.
One of the questions I was going to ask you later, but let's go ahead and get this one out of the way because it goes with what you're saying. Other than what you just said, is there any other message that you would like to convey to anyone who might have information about Sebastian's whereabouts? Anything that you want to say to them at all outside of what you just said?
Show up. They email me. There are people on Facebook that for all these sites. Send it to them. You know, there's Miss Terry Lynn. She has a podcast. She wants people to send her tips.
Okay, you can tell this is an outdated video. I have no idea. I've not been keeping up. Tell me if I'm wrong, but Terry Lynn is no longer somebody that you want to reach out to with regarding to Sebastian Rogers. Not sure what went down there. And this is very interesting because this is not an interview I've seen before, yet it's one of the early ones of Seth. And it would appear to be, I don't know, because I have not heard Seth reference Terry Lynn ever. One of the few times he references Terry Lynn. So they must have had a falling out, or I have no idea, but this is news to me that he would even reference Terry Lynn. But no, regrettably, she is no longer, she is with the sea now. Yeah, like it's unbelievable. Spirit is just wild because I was just thinking about that before coming on with respect to her. And interesting that Seth, I've never, ever, ever heard. In fact, I've criticized him for not supporting her. He obviously must have had knowledge. No kidding. I know. She must have had, she's dogs him that. Oh, I know. I don't know, man. I don't even. Anyways, for anybody new, do not follow Terry Lynn with respect to Sebastian.
If you're local and you have a tip, come by where we gather before we go out to search. I live in Clarksville. You know, you'll
Have you
find
guys
me.
seen this
My truck's
video?
pretty easy to make.
Yes or no?
I
Have you
mean,
seen this
there
video,
are
this
people,
interview?
even if you want to call where I work, call, and they probably won't like this, but call Davison County Sheriff's Department. Tell them that you have a tip. They'll get it to me. I'm pretty sure. I've gotten a lot of support from Davison County.
Yeah, I'm positive they would get it to you. And at the same time, you know, if it comes up and you guys need to get a tip to somebody, you can reach out to me. You can reach out to Pascal. You can reach out to anybody that has anything. For me, out of all the cases that we've talked about, this one really hits me hard because I am local. I live in Sumner County. It is very, very close to me.
Most of you haven't seen it. Good choice for me then.
You know, Sebastian is my neighbor. And even though you're in Clarksville, you are too, although getting from here to Clarksville, there's not a straight shot. But, you know, this is, do what?
I said that's because of 24.
Yeah, I know that's because of 24. They could make a thing, but they haven't. But that's a different discussion on a different day. Like a bypass. But this is my community, and so what I want to say is they're out there searching every day. This is, you know, a lot of volunteers have come forward. They still need things, which we'll talk about more. But if you are local, if you are in the Nashville area, you can devote some time. You know, please, you know, come out and search. You know, drop off supplies. Are they still doing supplies over by Volunteer Drive?
No, we are at 127 River Road, Hendersonville, Tennessee. It's over by the Rudder, which is a restaurant
River Road. I used to live on River Road. Wild.
on the water.
Yeah, Rudder's the south part of Hendersonville, guys. Pretty easy to find. So if is that was it where that place we were searching that one day where I met you out there where the building was? Okay, so yeah,
Yes.
you go down like you're going to the Rudder and you just don't quite go that far. And anyways, putting a GPS, but they need supplies. What do you need at this point from supply standpoint? Obviously, water, food, snacks.
Water is great, but we need eyes. We need people. Um, we need people. We need people to come together as a community. This is a 15-year-old child that doesn't deserve what has happened to him to have
No,
happened to him.
it sure doesn't.
Yeah, I agree with you. And he's a special needs child, which makes it that much more. And so, yeah, if you guys are out, I know that we have, I know that this live was posted in a lot of Sebastian Rogers groups and a lot of local Hendersonville groups. If you are local, please find some time to come out and search. You know, it doesn't have to be a formal thing. You can come a little bit later. You can come a little bit earlier. You know, they are, you know, you can organize your own independent search. There are maps of where they've gone. You know, if you do live in the area, you know, and you have property, because with Hendersonville, as you know, Madison, Goodlettsville, Gallatin, there are some people that have pretty large plots of land. If you have one with anything on it, from water to, you know, wells to caves to any places where he could hide or be stashed, please check. And like law enforcement said in the press conference yesterday, if you're afraid to go do it yourself, you don't want to do it by yourself, call them. They said that they will come out and help you search. So that being said, you know, let's start here because this is about Sebastian, right? And we've had a lot of people ask a lot of things about Sebastian.
You know, the other thing I wanted to mention, Becky, you wouldn't know this because I don't think you were necessarily around at that time. But do y'all remember when I might have even, I'm sorry, I don't retain a lot of the details, like of some of these things. It's just, I feel like I was not even talking about Sebastian. I feel like I was talking about Karen Reed or Jack and Lily. And Sebastian came in really angry at one point. Like his parents, his dad and mom were fighting. I'm sorry, I just connected that to the reading I just did this afternoon. But I think, yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. I don't know what's going on with that. I think she got threatened
But we
personally.
don't know a lot about him. So if you don't mind,
Personally.
how would you describe him as a person, as your son? What are some of his passions, some of his interests?
Oh, boy loves video games. I think it's more like a close toss up between animals and video games. When it comes to animals, he loves cats. Like the boy just loves cats. He loves cats. I mean, like if he sees a stray cat, he's apt to walk up. Why is it running from me? Well, son, it's a cat. Trying to explain that to him, you know, and not. I mean, my son got bit in the face by a dog, and he had to have 7 stitches in his face, and he still isn't scared of dogs. I mean, he's not scared of anything
Lady, this is another interview he did, Seth did
except for,
right
I guess,
after.
his stepfather.
This is an interview that was
That's fair.
done back in
What are some of the
April
memories, like
2024,
your
honey.
favorite memories that you have with him? What stands out to you as a dad? I know that you have a great relationship with your son. What are some of the things that you guys like to do together?
Well, I think one of the favorite things that he likes to do with me is road trips. Me personally, I'm not a fan of road trips because he were to drive. Okay, if he were to drive some, that'd be great. But I can't even get him to sit behind the wheel and the vehicle stationary. But he likes to go on road trips with me. He likes it when I take him to go. I mean, he was born in Georgia. We moved to Kansas while his mother was at great mistakes, and then she got stationed in San Diego. And so we drove to San Diego, and then she would leave on a deployment or a half a deployment, a third of a deployment, and we would leave the house. We'd pack everything that we were going to need into the car, and we would drive. We'd go see family. He has been coast to coast probably 6 times. I mean, boy loves road trips. To me, they're educational because never a road trip is never the same. You always can take a different route and see different things, and he loved it. He liked when Christmas came around or summer break. If I could get it off, road trip. We go down to Texas to see
Road
his grandma
trip.
and his grandpa. You know,
Road trip. So interesting because I do remember distinctly one of the first readings I did that Sebastian was being told he was just taking a trip, that he was being sort of lied to. And
except
I'm
for I
just
guess just
thinking about that now and the Texas Roadhouse scene. Sorry, as I stop, I'm just getting memories dribbling in that might be relevant. So forgive me, but I remember, and that whole Texas Roadhouse scene where Sebastian was not buying what he was being
That's fine.
told. They were gonna just
That's
take him
fair.
on a little holiday or something.
What
There was
are
some.
what are some of the memories, like your favorite memories that you have with him? What stands out to you as a dad? I know that you have a great relationship with your son. What are some of the things that you guys like to do together?
Well, I think one of the favorite things that he likes to do with me is road trips. Me personally, I'm not a fan of road trips because he were to drive. Okay, if he were to drive some, that'd be great. But I can't even get him to sit behind the wheel in the vehicle stationary. But he likes to go on road trips with me. He likes it when I take him to go. I mean, he was born in Georgia. We moved to Kansas while his mother was at Great Mistakes, and then she got stationed in San Diego. And so we drove to San Diego, and then she would leave on a deployment or a half a deployment, a third of a deployment, and we would leave the house. We'd pack everything that we were going to need into the car, and we would drive. We'd go see family. He has been coast to coast probably 6 times. I mean, boy loves road trips. To me, they're educational because never a road trip is never the same. You always can take a different route and see different things, and he loved it. He liked when Christmas came around or summer break. If I could get it off, road trip. We go down to Texas to see his grandma and his grandpa. You know, drive. There's multiple different ways to get there. Drive through Missouri into Oklahoma, stop and see friends on the way. That I think that's one of his favorite things to do with me is road trips. Because also at the end of road trips or in the middle of road trips, there's going to fish. When my mom and dad, his grandparents lived down in South Texas, we go down there and go fish in the Gulf of Mexico. Boy, love that. I mean, there was nothing like going on the boat to go fishing.
Mm,
He got to see baby hammerhead sharks. One of the people caught one of those.
that's. I swear I've never seen this interview, but uh, now you remember. I remember I've never seen this interview, but I do remember getting the fishing too. Like, damn.
Little little 11-inch hammerhead shark, and he was like, "Dad, it's a shark," and I'm like, "It is. Can we keep it? No. Can we eat it? No, son. In order for it to be big enough to eat, it'd be big enough to eat you. Um, showing him all the
Yeah.
jellyfish and stuff that were in the water. I mean, he's inquisitive. He's always been inquisitive. He likes to ask the questions because he wants to know the answers. He wants to know more and more. And it's like, I'm a wealth of information, son. You want to know things? Ask me. I like sharing my knowledge with him.
Well, I have 102 interviews and I have my old readings to go through. We have a lot of Sebastian we can recap, let alone what's happened in 2025. There's a list of 102 interviews from 2024 alone, whether it was Chris, Katie, Seth, or whatever. So yeah, we have a lot of content we can go back through. So we're gonna do this for a while, and we're gonna keep with Jack and Lily, and I'm gonna start some new cases too. So
He's my mini me.
What what did he have a favorite place that he liked to go when you guys road tripped?
He'd like to go see his mom and my mom and dad. I mean,
So down
they
in
have
Texas.
yeah, he likes dogs, and they have dogs. They have a little Boston pit, and they like him. He liked them. He was so heartbreaking when one of them passed on, but you know he enjoyed it. He enjoyed seeing family. He enjoyed the trip. He enjoyed the experience of it, I believe.
Yeah, I'm sure.
thank you,
You're
Lois.
wearing. I
Thank
see.
you.
I'm wearing green. You
I
can barely
feel
tell, but
rested.
the shirt that you're wearing. Can you show people that for a second? So this shirt right here for Sebastian, you can get a shirt similar to. I think it's one similar to what you have on. If you see what I have scrolling down here at the bottom, it's bonfire.com/Sebastian-Rogers. You can get one of those. At the same time, I put Seth's Cash App up here. You can see it too. So if you want to donate to the cause to help with searches, look, guys, I'm gonna tell you right now. This man has been out there every single day. He does not sleep. He does not eat. He's definitely not taking care of himself. And searches are expensive. He's not working right now because he's taking the time off to find his son. So if anybody has anything, if everybody between all the platforms that are streaming this right now went to that Cash App and donated just $1, it would make a tremendous difference for him. There was something that you said a little while ago And you know that we talked about this beforehand, and I don't want to talk too much about your ex and his stepfather. I want to keep that to a bare minimum because this is about you, this is about Sebastian and about you because you're the one that's out there every day doing things.
So y'all, I'm doing a 7 o'clock live for Jack and Lily again tonight. We're going to continue to dive into Uncle Larry. Well, we're not going to continue. We're going to actually start to dive into Uncle Larry, but continue to look for location as well for Jack and Lily.
But you had said a second ago that he was afraid of his stepdad. Is there, what has he conveyed to you or talked to you about that you're able to talk about why he was afraid of him?
I found out afterwards. I mean, I found out after my son disappeared that he was scared of his stepfather. I mean, I've seen some of the podcasts where he has used the belt. I mean, if you think about the if you I've been to the school, I've talked to the principal, I've talked to his teachers, I've talked to the SRO, and everybody is like, he's a wonderful kid. You know, he's always happy here. He always wants to make sure, as the SRO told me, he saw him every day, and the SRO was like, it was the same thing every day with him. He would stop the SRO and be like, "How many tickets are you going to give the teacher today?" You know, and
It's
he would.
funny.
I like to think that he got that from me. I have a sense of humor.
You do have a sense of humor. Even through all this, you have a pretty damn good sense of humor, I think.
Well, there's been people that say that when my sense of humor is gone, the world's probably going to end. But you know, yeah, he's got a sense of humor, and everybody at the school was like, they're wanting him to come back. It's not just me. I mean, he has touched the lives of a lot of people. He has brought joy. His smile. I mean, his behavior, his demeanor.
I'm sorry. I know it's hard. Take your time.
Believe he's
I
alive
can.
out there,
I know
and
you. Sorry, go ahead.
just needs to be found. He needs to know that there are people in here, and I wish he would have told me. I wish he would have told me what was going on, because I wouldn't have let him go back there.
He might have been afraid to tell you because of what might have happened to him if he did. You know, this is a man. You know, well, I'm gonna table the comment I was about to make. Let me switch gears just a little bit, and I'm gonna ask you a question. And there's a reason. There's two reasons I'm asking you this question, and it's something that we've talked about. So, in a previous interview, not with you, it was asked what medications Sebastian was on. And I'm going to ask you that right now, not to be nosy, but so that people can know. And there's two parts to this question. What medications was he on? And what does it mean if he does not have them right now?
He was on some medication for impulse control, for ADHD. He wasn't on anything for his autism, and he had two different types of medication they was taking. And I want to say they just switched it, but I want to say it was like Guafacid or something that he was taking, and then he was taking another medication as well, and I can't remember the name of that. And they just put him on Risperdal, or however you want to pronounce it, try to get him to sleep at night. I didn't have a problem with him sleeping here, so I never really understood that. I mean, I'm not a doctor, but he just turned around and they removed his tonsils because he had obstructive sleep apnea. So they were trying to, they were trying to get him to quote unquote sleep. But I remember as an infant, my son, and a newborn infant sleeps like 18 hours a day. My son slept maybe 4 hours. He's always been one that does not sleep, you know.
Oh gosh, I hope that's not the case for Rory, my granddaughter. Not nearly that bad, but this is a lot of new information for me. So, okay, a lot of information because there was a lot of questions like why were they not worried about him being off his medications? Were his medications reordered?
That gets there's just medication doesn't always solve all the problems. Sometimes I think parents use medication against their kids because they just don't want to deal with it. I only worked part time until my divorce because I spent most of my time taking care of Sebastian. He, he's not perfect. Nobody is. But that doesn't mean he's a horrible person. It doesn't mean he was a horrible child. Had him set with a routine. I could get him to take a shower, eat, take a shower, lay down in bed, and he'd fall asleep in about an hour at the most. And we're talking about at like 5, 6 years old. It was all about a routine. And there's as soon as she filed for a divorce, first thing she did was take him to get him medicated. Now, not only is the child going through a divorce, because the children suffer the most through a divorce, because at some point in time, they're going to be asked to choose sides. And that is horrible, to make a child choose between their mother and their father. I could never do that to my son. I was good with joint legal custody, because I believe that a child needs both his mother and his father. When she started putting him on medication after medication, this isn't doing enough. This isn't doing what I'm wanting. He's not going to sleep. He's bouncing over. Well, take him out. Take him swimming. Take him to the park and let him play. He's a child. He's got to have a way to get rid of all this energy. You can't just, go to work and then come home and expect him to, do what you want him to do. He's got to have an outlet for this stuff. He's growing. And medication isn't always, he's, it was just an uphill struggle.
So with medication, I want to say this too, with what you're talking about. I get that. I am very ADHD, and a lot of the medications that they can put you on for that will really just make you an absolute zombie. No
Yeah.
personality. It kills who they are as a person until they're off of it, obviously.
Yep.
Now it was report. Okay, sorry.
Look how happy he is with his snake.
And I'm putting the pictures up because I want people to be able to see what he looks like, because the more pictures, the better. So if you see him somewhere, you can recognize him. You get a lot of different ones. So, he's a cute kid. He seems like a sweet kid. And no kid is perfect, right? Like none of them are. But that's what you're there as a parent for, is to help them, get there and grow into that adult. I want to ask about the glasses. Well, a couple things. One of them I'm going to clarify for anybody who's watching now. Glasses were found during the search for him, and I think it's safe to say now that you were
It's
the
the
one
only
that found
setting
it.
I can keep it on.
Correct.
It was one of my search teams. I wasn't the actual person to
Okay.
find him. It was one of my volunteer search groups.
Okay.
They
And if I
found
understand correctly, sorry.
Go ahead.
And my understanding is those glasses were not his. Is that what they determined?
That's what everybody knew that off the internet before I did. So, yeah.
Okay. There was originally reported that he did not have his glasses. Do you know, is that a true statement? Is he without them?
From my understanding, he has his glasses.
Okay.
That's
Good.
why. That's why when they said they found a pair of glasses and they sent me a picture of them, I was like, that is too close for me to tell. Go ahead. And they told me that nobody was picking up the phone. And so
What
I
the name
reached
was
out.
your pitch?
I wasn't able to get a hold of anybody, so I flagged down a deputy sheriff and kept him at the volunteer place. And I told him to bring it on. Told him put on gloves, take pictures around them, how they're laying, so on. Take pictures and put on a pair of gloves and bag them and bring them in. Do not touch them. Don't get any DNA transfer or anything like that. And they did. They brought them in so that we could have an exchange and we could have a chain of evidence.
Just going to repeat this. I'm going to go back and watch it again. I think somebody asked about my visions. I did a reading on Sebastian earlier, as I explained at the beginning of this live and at the beginning of the reading. You can look for it tomorrow. I'm going to try for a while to not download or get visions during lives. Unless they just come in, I will tell you. But I'm hoping that I'll get more visions and Sebastian will start coming back again now that I'm back into the case. So we're going to keep watching videos. I'm going to keep doing tarot videos. For now, I'll separate them. Unless Sebastian comes in, I'll let you know. Okay, if I get a hit or something, I'll let you know.
There was something that you said earlier that you were talking about, and I kind of want to, and you and I talked about this a little bit on the phone, and like I said, we don't want to talk too much about your ex and that side of this. But there is something that I did want to bring up, because information about you and your divorce with Katie was leaked. And some of the stuff has taken the internet to put a lot of accusations against you. And you and I have told the story, or told me the story of what happened. And I want you to kind of share what you're comfortable sharing. But what I found that was kind of odd between the accusations that are being thrown out about you through your divorce is that those stories are oddly similar, very similar, in fact, to the stories told by Chris when he was basically bragging about the way he treated Sebastian, the way that Nina Gomez, her children were treated and she was treated. It's oddly like it almost mirrors it exactly. And so, respectfully, what I'd like to ask you is there anything regarding those accusations that you would want to address?
I mean, she filed for a divorce. She accused me of domestic violence against my son. Took several months. I ended up, when she filed for a divorce, me being the person I am, I was like, okay, well, grab a legal pad and let's go ahead and do a divorce. We'll go ahead and split all the furniture and whatnot. What do you want? Obviously, things of that sort. And I was like, when it comes down to Sebastian, all I want is 50-50. He's my son, you're his mom, so. And when that part came up, she went and got an attorney. And the next thing I know, I'm being issued a restraining order for domestic violence and a move out order so that I would no longer have a place to stay as well. I thought initially I thought it was her that I was being accused of being violent against. She told them that I had an arsenal. They showed up with like 20 sheriffs and SWAT gear,
Oh,
armed with assault rifles, fully automatic in California. They walked up. I looked at the lady and I was like, "You're coming in here. Who are y'all here for?" Because I was outside with my son and he was playing with the neighbor's kid, and we're sitting there, drinking coffee, shooting the shit, watching our kids play. When they rolled up, he looked at me. He was like, "I wonder who they're here for this time." And I was like, one day they're going to be here for me because Katie's going to call them on me. And that was the time that they were there for me. They rolled up. The lady that was in charge, she she told me that why I was here, why they were there, and I was like, okay. I looked at her and I was like, you don't remember me, do you? And the lady looked at me. She was like, no. And I was like, I'm the father of the autistic special needs child. And she was like, oh, I remember you. And turned around and told all the deputies there that they needed to stand down. I'd comply with whatever was asked. And they were like, they
wow.
stood down. There was no need for it, all that. Um, you know, that
Yeah.
time I was before she did this, I was an armed security officer, worked in military housing. And they were like, we hear you have firearms inside. I was like, yeah, I have my pistol that I use when I'm at work, and then I have the other pistol that is used for work because work issues your own pistol. And then I had my own, and they're like, where are they? And I told them they were on my desk. And they were like, but you have a child. Why do you have them on your desk? I was like, they're on my desk. You can go get them. 30 minutes later, they asked me to come and point out where they were on my desk. And I walked in and I showed them the secret little pop so that they would drop down so you could actually get them. And they took those, and I still never got my firearms back. That's California. But that was it. So I was hit with this. I turned around. I was living in my car, trying to make ends meet, trying to make
This is
sure I had
wild.
money to feed myself,
I
which
have
was
never
it
heard
was
this
kind of hard to
interview.
actually get in place.
I have never heard this interview before. This is wild. I'm so sorry, Seth. I have never heard this before. Donna and I also heard that they never verified it. It wasn't Sebastian's prescription. This case is something else. They both are. Jack and Lily too. I'll see you all that want to be there for that live at 7 later for that tonight.
Because I didn't even have a
And if
residence
you're
or an
just coming in, I did 2 videos this morning that'll drop tomorrow. One on Jack and Lily and one on Sebastian. And that's Sebastian one very interesting because I'm trying to start over and just put away my theories and see what I pick up.
address anymore.
Starting over.
Dealing with the court issue,
Yep.
finally turned around and her attorney kept pushing and pushing, and the judge at one point in time just turned around and told both me and Katie that we needed to be adults and remember that we're parents for Sebastian, and told us to go in the hallway and do a parenting plan, and dismissed everything. CPS had done their investigation. Finally, CPS never contacted me. One day I went by there just out of the whim. It was the last day. They were closing the case. And they informed me they've been trying to get a hold of me for the whole time. And I was like, well, my number hasn't changed in years, like 12. And they're like, well, nobody had your information. And I was like, well, his mother did. And she didn't even bother to give him that. They turned around and they were like, well, we can't find any evidence of any abuse. And so they submitted that to the court, and the court dismissed everything.
So one thing, hold on, let me try to get this better so we're even size. There we go. One thing that I want to say to the people with this is, oftentimes you want to make sure that you believe victims 98% of the time when they accuse somebody of something, but there are situations where you can tell that things aren't truthful. I will tell you that I have talked to Seth at length about some of this stuff, and I truly, and I would say this even if he wasn't here, believe him. Because I think there's a couple reasons why. Is you can tell the way that he shares his story, and you can also tell in his actions, which is the fact that he is out there literally every single day. The other thing that I want to share with you guys from just a real quick personal note is that there are women like that who will use their children, fathers too, but there are women out there who will use their children as pawns, as control in a divorce situation. My mom was one of those. She had my dad arrested in front of me multiple times by violating some BS contempt of court thing. It just sometimes happens, and I think that that's what he got caught up in, and I truly do believe that, because this is a man who has been like y'all every single day, and nobody has a bad thing to say about him. So I just wanted to clear that up, because I know that there's been, the internet guys can be cruel. Y'all,
Yeah, I don't believe a word of it either. I don't. Really? Oh, that's horrible to hear, Danielle. I think Katie lied on that one. I just don't believe it either. So just in case anybody wants to throw me in for showing this under the bus, I really don't. I think it was dismissed because it was probably a lie.
know that, and so I wanted him to kind of clear some of that stuff up. There are some questions that have come in I want to ask you real quick for the people who are wanting me to share a couple things with you before we kind of go on. So the first one is so how is he with strangers? Do you think that he would just leave with one if one approached him?
Just no. I don't think he would leave with one because he's apprehensive. I mean, taught him to be aware of your surroundings is what I was teaching him. But I've also taught him that not everybody is your friend. And I had to do that. There was an incident in California before 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 Chris and Katie came back here. There was another CPS incident in California at her house. Katie and Chris let a child into their house that was 5 years older than my son. My son was 7 or 8 at the time, and this kid was 13. And she has a habit of not checking on her kid. I would never let some kid that's 5 years older than my son play with my son anyways. It's like, why do you want to play with my son? There's a 5 year difference. That's a pretty big difference. You're 13, and my son, you're a teenager. My son is not a teenager. He's still playing with Hot Wheels and Legos, and he's building things. He's playing video games, and you're a teenager. You go out and you have your own, age appropriate group that you play with, and they were letting this kid play with my son, and they weren't checking on him. And then this kid took my son's innocence, and he molested him.
Hey, Chris.
So you take your time.
And there was nothing I could do in California because the kid was 13. But they let that happen. And they didn't bother to try to even get my son help until last year. Here, my son has just turned 15 in December. That means he's been dealing with an emotional, stressful, traumatic incident for the last 7 years. And I've been trying to help him. I've been trying to get him help. going to talk to his doctor and telling them what happened. And for the doctor to tell me, she was like, I knew none of this stuff. And I'm like, really? Because he's supposed to be seeing a therapist for this. And she's like, well, he's not seeing the right type of therapist for this type of trauma. I care about my son. And actions speak so much louder than words. And there's just no justification for the actions that I have seen from them. They're not parents. They're not parents at all. And I want to know what happened to my son.
You deserve to know what happened to your son. Every bit. And I'm sorry, I don't think any of us were aware of that. And I am so sorry that, number one, that he went through that, and two, that as a parent,
Well,
you're
that
going through a parent's worst nightmare, but that's like the second worst nightmare.
my son around his daughter, because Chris has turned around into my mother told my mom, your grandson's a pedophile. No, he's not. He's a victim that hasn't got the
Wow.
help that he deserves and that he needs so that he can get over the traumatic incident that has happened to him. That should have never happened underneath their watch to begin with. That's why Chris doesn't want my son around his daughter, because he's scared that my son is going to do the same thing that was done to him under his watch. And Chris Proudfoot, if you're listening to this, you can't hold that over my head. I told you. You're going to piss me the fuck off, and I don't give a fuck who knows.
Hey,
It's your
Sharon,
fault.
honey.
It's your and your wife's fault. You guys don't deserve to be around kids.
I don't know if you listened to it, but I know that you're aware of Nina Gomez's video, and I'm going to say this based on what I've heard and having dealt. So my account started off.
I mean, spirit works in mysterious ways. I did not have a plan today as far as which interview to start with. I even opened up saying, do you want this or that? No, I'm going to go with this. I've never seen this interview before, but I'm connecting the dots to the reading that I just had. I'm connecting the dots to the reading I just did that will be released tomorrow about motive, and maybe originally just take him away until this custody thing with Faith comes to a full circle, full end, and then something kind of changed. You'll have to watch the reading tomorrow. I'm just saying, I'm not declaring that a theory yet. I'm just saying I'm kind of feeling a little bit of this after this interview, based on what I read, the reading I just did earlier that you'll see tomorrow. So oh, I haven't seen with corruption or what for the little summer and many more. Yes, absolutely.
As toxic and narcissistic behavior because of the type of parent that I had. He doesn't even want his own daughter. It's what I heard, and it's
You're
just all
starting
about
over,
control.
Donna.
And it's about control with Sebastian.
I
That was
had to
pretty
give it
clear
a
because
break.
I had a lot of step parents
I had to give it a break. I really did have to give it a break, but we're starting over again. Yes.
more than I want to admit, and most of them would have never disciplined me without talking to to a biological parent. They sure as hell wouldn't have hit me. So it's for him. I think it really is control, and maybe I shouldn't be saying that, but I'm kind of like, I'm with you at this point. Kind of like, fuck it, because everything that has come out, every word that has come out of his mouth, he double talks. He talks out of both sides of his mouth. He
You're
can't
welcome,
keep his story
Corinne.
straight in one single
Danielle, you're
interview.
welcome.
So I'm fully with you, and I feel that most people who have seen this going down, have seen everything that's happened, watching it because this case has become incredibly public, are on your side with them. We all feel the same way about them, because the way, I'm just going to say it. You're out there every day looking. I've said that a million times, and the only reason you're not out looking for your kid, is you're not looking for something that's lost, is because it's not lost to you. You know right where it is. You know right where he is, and that's why, in my opinion, I think I told you that too on the phone. So every day you're out there busting your ass. And I'm going to tell you, he hurt himself. So like when you see the way he stands and stuff like that, this man is in pain. Like he's got the massager right now. I don't think there's better timing for me to bring this up. This man is constantly in pain. He doesn't sleep. He maybe gets 30 minutes to an hour a night, tirelessly, while the others were literally, I'm just going to say this because I'm pissed off because, again, like I said, this is my community, okay? They were at the Cracker Barrel 5 minutes from my house on Easter, and then they left town again. They haven't been seen.
Thanks, Donna.
And I just don't understand that. The
Thank you,
last time you
Donna.
saw shit like that was with Chris and Roberta Laundrie. So I'm just saying. I want to kind of go on to something a little bit different because I know that this is taking a massive emotional toll on you. So going to the search, can you take us back to the moments leading up to Sebastian's disappearance and what was happening during your lives at that time, which led him to whatever you believe, whatever you know, whatever you're able to share, what was going on at that time for him to disappear?
I talked to him on Thursday. Everything seemed to be normal. I mean, sorry, it hurts.
I know, it's okay. I know you're hurt emotionally and physically at this point. And if you don't want to answer anything, if something's getting too much for you, you don't have to answer it.
I'm just trying to focus so I can answer the questions. That's
Welcome
all.
in, my dear.
Pain is a overwhelming distraction at times. Sebastian was going to school. Whole point of him finishing his first year was he was supposed to come live with me. We were supposed to do a swap where she would have him every other weekend, and he would be living with me, going to school. And if she wanted him on his breaks, then she would be able to have him on the breaks. If not, then he would stay with me. I mean, I wanted full custody of my son since the divorce, but I didn't. I don't believe it's my right to take a child's mother away. That's something that the child would debate or would decide at a later point in time. The only thing I wanted to do was protect him, and
Respectfully, not every person who is a mother is a good mother or deserves to be.
I agree.
makes me feel like shit.
You didn't do anything wrong. You're still not doing anything wrong.
Should have done things different. Would have been in that situation.
I know that me saying this isn't going to help you from beating yourself up. You're going to do that regardless. But look at the situation that you've been dealing with. It's not, you're going up against two people who are constantly battling you in every bit with your son. It's the same thing that Nina was talking about. They battle every step of the way because it's about control. It has nothing to do with love of the children. It has to do with control. That's what it is. So how do I put it? Yes, you married her. Yes, you've been having this co-parenting situation for a long time. I have talked to you enough, and I've seen you talk in other interviews enough to know that you are not like that. And when you have somebody who is not like that, it's hard sometimes to grasp the full spectrum of what you're really dealing with. And so you can sit there and beat yourself up and say, I could have done this, I should have done this, but you don't know what you don't know. And I don't think you
Guys, I have to be transparent. This is the first time I watched Justin on TikTok. I literally thought it was Clutch Them Pearls, Justin, before I started to show it, because I have this spreadsheet of 102 interviews, but I haven't watched this before. So yes, he's lovely, and he does care truly. Did he and Seth have a following, or what happened? Why? I don't know, because I don't know. Maybe there's other interviews I just never knew existed. I'm now putting some pieces together of things people were saying about uh, what had happened. Excuse me, to poor Sebastian, not knowing of this interview existed. So, yeah, there's so many things to get caught up on. That's why I thought we would go back to the beginning. I'm not gonna do unless I get a hit. I thought at one point Sebastian might be coming in, but it wasn't him. Unless I get a hit, we're just gonna keep interviewing, and then I'll do readings and psychic downloads and whatever I get. But for now, I'm just trying to get back into the case and get refamiliarized with it and just see if I can get more clarity because, yeah. Thanks, Donna. I know. Reserve, did you seen this one before too? Have you seen this interview before too? This is just, it's a hard one for me. I had to take a break for sure from
Truly
Sebastian.
know what you're dealing with
And Jack and
or have
Lily
been
is
dealing
7 o'clock tonight, everybody.
Just makes me look for him
Live
harder.
Eastern, 7 Eastern. We're
It
going
just
back
makes me
on
want to find him
location.
faster.
And who Uncle Jack or who Uncle Larry is, rather.
with. In your opinion, and again, this is one of those that I know with an investigation, you can be very limited. So if you can't answer, just say you can't answer. And if you don't want to, I don't want to take too much of a toll on you. But in your opinion, what do you think might have happened to Sebastian? Do you have any theories or suspicions about his disappearance that you want, that you're comfortable sharing? If not, that's okay.
I'll let you know. I have theories and suspicions all day long, but they're suspicions. You know, can't really back it up because I'm not in charge of the investigation. But it don't make sense if there's no scent of him leaving the house on a weekend that was 70, 75 degrees. Then he didn't he didn't walk away from the house.
I think that it's very, I'm just going to say it. I think it's very obvious he didn't just walk away from the house. If the story that's being painted or told to us is true, and he went out there barefoot, then there is no way that those bloodhounds would not have picked up a scent leaving that property somewhere, and they didn't. So
Been
there's no
skin,
way that he
been something. There's concrete. You lose skin cells all the time. You're barefoot.
absolutely
Even if you got socks on, you're going to lose particles. They're going to. It's just. It, none of this makes sense. None of
zero
this makes.
sense. The
I mean,
only thing that would make sense for the dogs not to get a scent is that if he left that house in a vehicle and didn't walk off like they said. That's the only thing that could make sense. That's the only reason why a dog would not have picked up a scent. Any of the dogs that came out would not have picked up a scent. No cameras picked him up, and there are in 2024 people. You don't just
Well, that's
vanish.
not. Did the camera get something? Maybe. I don't know. I also messaged Brian Enton today on his platform because I don't have TikTok and all that. I got to get those things set up. I just really don't want to. Can you tell? Facebook and all that just for MMO, not for me personally. But anyway, thinking he might listen to this audio. So, do we have evidence? Let's at this point, don't forget this is way back in April of 2024. But
no. In 2024, I'll walk outside right now, and you look around, and people have at least their porch light on, something that makes it obvious so that if you're walking around the house, they can see. Nobody has their yard and their house all blacked out so that cameras can't see shit unless you're
absolutely.
fucking hiding something.
I would agree. But even in the dark, a lot of these cameras can still pick up.
Never tried
Well,
it.
you know, I am law enforcement, and I'm not trying to sit there
Yes,
and point
Donna.
fingers, but you think for 1 second that the people that live there did not know where people's cameras were at?
They know. And again, you don't have to say anything to what I'm going to say, but I find it odd that she works for ADT and there's no security
She
around the
works for
house.
home security.
It was Brinks. Okay, somebody said ADT. I thought it was Brinks, but okay, Brinks. But so same thing though. You work for them, you get free security systems or at least discounted. So I find that I just have found that very, I'll just say odd, is what I'll say.
Unusual, weird.
Unusual. Yeah, it's strange. So you for a month you probably know
I'm
every
just
inch
gonna
about him.
rewind this.
I think that it's very parenting
Sorry,
situation for a long time.
I'm rewinding for a
I have
second.
talked to you enough, and I've seen you talk in other interviews enough to know that you are not like that. And when you have somebody who is not like that, it's hard sometimes to.
Hey, Lady Freedom. I don't know much about your channel. I apologize. I really do. There's so many channels out there, but I do welcome you here. If you want to jump on or send me a message and you want to collaborate or something sometime, let me know. Would love to do that. I still, the CP, the Blackout Neighbors cameras, you still think, yeah, well, this is the audio that I have the clip of that was sent to me that replayed on this channel way back was attached. MMO Soldier says she tried to chat. but I can't see her. In this chat, I don't see it either. I don't know. Jen, is Jen here watching? I don't know. Anyway, now I'm distracted. I forget what I was saying. It's not important. I didn't see her either. I don't know. It's not the first time I don't see all of the comments. Love to. I have watched you a few times. I've been working a lot on Light's video. Okay. Yeah, you just messaged me. Donna, can you pop up my email address? Yeah, I'd love to. I'm totally not against that at all. And my, yeah, I want to go back and listen to this. I was just asking her, I'm sorry. Yes, this chat, Jen. Oh, asking for her for, okay, now you got to fill me in. I don't know what's going on. Okay, I'll check. Thank you. The interviewer could have been threatened or bribed or some sort of blackmail since 3 for. Yeah, I don't know. Why would Justin have been threatened? I don't know. Oh, you're talking about why they're not talking anymore. Thank you, Krista. Yeah, yeah. Well, that's what I've been trying to do. I don't want to get into it, but been trying to collaborate with people. I'll message Jen. I don't know what's going on there. That's weird. I have been trying to collaborate with people, and yeah, it's you're welcome. I think it's just better if we can do things together. He might not be doing the channel at all because he may have. Oh, Krista. Okay. Aw, thank you, Kitty. Well, I try. I'm definitely not perfect. I've had a rough go in the last few months. I am doing much better now. Thank you, though. But yeah.
Grasp the full spectrum of what you're really dealing with. And so you can sit there and beat yourself up and say, I could have done this, I should have done this, but you don't know what you don't know. And I don't think you truly know what you're dealing with or have been dealing with.
Just makes me look for him harder. It just makes me want to find him faster.
I think TL got threatened. Absolutely. I've talked to Terry Lynn. She and I
In your
talked
opinion,
frequently
and again,
and
this is one of those
texted.
that I know with an investigation, you can be very limited. So if you can't answer, just say you can't
Thing to
answer. If you don't
me,
want
like,
to, I don't
I
want to take too
don't
much of a toll
know
on you.
what's going down there.
But in your opinion,
But
what
I
do you
would
think
say
might have happened
threatened.
to Sebastian? Do you have any theories or suspicions about his disappearance that you're comfortable sharing? If not, that's okay.
I'll let you know. I have theories and suspicions all day long, but they're suspicions. Can't really back it up because I'm not in charge of the investigation. But it don't make sense if there's no scent of him leaving the house on a weekend that was 70, 75 degrees. Then he didn't walk away from the house.
I think that it's very, I'm just going to say it. I think it's very obvious he didn't just walk away from the house. If the story that's being painted or told to us is true, and he went out there barefoot, then there is no way that those bloodhounds would not have picked up a scent leaving that property somewhere, and they didn't. So there's no way that he.
Been something. There's concrete. You lose skin cells all the time. You're barefoot. Even if you got socks on, you're going to lose particles. It's just none of this makes sense. None of this makes.
Yeah, like Jen. I mean, I can see your channel.
The only thing that would make sense.
So Jen, if you're still here, email me because I know you and I emailed a couple of weeks ago. I'm always like I can see your channel pop up. I'm just pulling it up now. So I don't know what's going on, honey. Steve Stainer, his case, a psychic pinpointed him, but the guy moved him, so they polygraphed his grandfather who lived in the area. She had him though. Yeah. Oh, she's not here anymore. Oh, okay, sorry. I'm confused. Okay, let's keep watching this.
for the dogs not to get a scent is that if he left that house in a vehicle and didn't walk off like they said, that's the only thing that could make sense. That's the only reason why a dog would not have picked up a scent. Any of the dogs that came out would not have picked up a scent. No cameras picked him up. And there were, in 2024, people, you don't just vanish.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I wanted
No.
to rewind it. Like, that's what I was starting to say when I rewound this. The audio has been tampered with. Like, there was a direct attempt to try to block that sound with a jammer. There's no doubt that there was a jammer that was used. No doubt.
In 2024, I'll walk outside right now and you look around and people have at least their porch light on. Something that
Did you
makes it
check?
obvious
Can
so
you
that if you're
remove
walking
her if
around the
she
house, they can
is?
see. Nobody has their yard and their house all
Kitty, can you check? And can you remove her as she is? I don't know how to check. Can you check?
blacked out so that cameras can't see shit unless you're fucking hiding something.
Can I? Oh, can
I
I
would
or
agree.
can
And
you? I don't know.
even in the dark, a lot of these cameras
I
can
don't know
still
how
pick
to
up.
do it. Tell me. Are you
Well,
talking about yourselves or me?
I am law enforcement and I'm not trying to sit there and point
I know.
fingers. But
Oh, I have no
you think for
idea.
1 second that the people that live there did not know where people's cameras were at?
I don't know. I don't know how to.
They know.
I can ban the user in the chat
And
here, but I haven't
again, you
seen
don't
her
have to say
come
anything
up
to what
to
I'm going to say.
ban
But I
her.
find it odd that she works for ADT and there's no security.
I
She
don't
works
know.
for home security.
It was Brinks. Okay, somebody said AG. I thought it was Brinks, but okay, Brinks. But so same thing though. You work for them, you get free security systems or at least discounted. So I find that have found that very. I'll just say odd. Is
Okay.
what I'll say.
Unusual, weird.
Unusual. Yeah, it's strange. So you for a month you probably know every inch of Hendersonville about now and some other areas. Natchez Trace Park, Goodlettsville, Madison, Gallatin, probably Clarksville. And that being said, can you walk us through the efforts that you've made in your search for Sebastian since he went missing, and what has that process been like for you?
Tolling. I have been to Drake's Creek Park. I have been across from there. I have walked through water clear up to my ankles, well, to my calves. I had water up to my ankles in my boots. My parents have helped me search, and this was just the first week. I have been up and down Happy Hollow, Muddy Hollow, Tier Branch. I've been to the tallest point in Hendersonville. Didn't know that until I spoke to the gentleman that has a house up there.
What's the
I've been
tallest point in Hendersonville?
There is a road that comes off of what is it? It's new. Long Hollow Pike goes this way. It's the road right next to the high school.
Oh, I know where you're talking about. Okay, I was just curious because I didn't know that was the tallest point in Hendersonville.
It's not,
So.
but if you pull up, you make the first left on there. I'm sorry, and you take that around. It actually goes all the way up to the tallest point in Hendersonville. At least that's what the gentleman told me that was outside of his house. He was there waiting on his wife to come back because he had locked himself out of the house. But he told me that he had been following it and he had been looking around, and I think that was on the Wednesday after he went missing. But I lost my voice the first week, just driving around screaming my son's name. If he was in that area, he would have heard me. I have a pretty loud voice. And then going back to everything, because now we're starting to research every place that we've been, because I think he's alive, and I think somebody has him, and I think they're moving him around,
What?
trying to stay away from wherever I'm searching. So now I've got people that want to follow me around, follow my volunteers around. They want to go in there a couple days after we've been there. We've gone back to places that we've put out flyers 3 days later, and there's no flyers there anymore. They're literally ripping our flyers down and getting rid of them. Somebody doesn't want me to find my son. It's not motivation to make me stop. You guys, you can't threaten me and make me stop. You might be able to stop volunteers from showing up because you're threatening people. But this is my heart that's out here missing, and I have to find it. I have to find the rest of me. And you guys ain't gonna make
The
me.
the one thing, so there are people that have been following him, that have been trying to interfere with the search, and the the level the level of audacity. He is a corrections officer who works, in a prison with some of the worst of the worst. You're not going to intimidate this man. You're not.
You
What
know,
kind of support? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say I do work with maximum security, but I guess some of them are the worst of the worst, but they're still human. They're still human too. They're there to pay for their crime that they've done. All right. But I'll tell you what, even criminals have an issue with people that hurt kids. All right.
Absolutely.
So do gangsters. So does the mob. So does everybody. Normally, you don't mess with kids. You don't mess with kids, and you've messed with a kid that is autistic. And the worst thing is that you mess with mine, and I won't stop. I'm not going to stop. You can't make me stop. You can't threaten me and make me stop. It's not going to work. Get over yourself. You ain't that important. And I'm talking to whoever's got my kid and whoever's wanting to follow my volunteers around. You're pathetic, and you're a coward.
Well, I can tell you, you're not going to stop volunteers in this area. This community wants to try to find him, and we're not scared. It's a good community.
I mean, right from the get-go, they started threatening the searchers. It's just disgusting. Absolutely disgusting right from the get-go. Ugh.
Uh, what kind of support would you say you've received from the community, from authorities, from organizations during the search for Sebastian?
It's not
A
him
lot of the
joining.
I've
He wouldn't be joining. Kitty, you join the group if you want to work as a volunteer for the group. He did reach out for help. I don't know. I never got the case. I heard he did reach out for help and sent a blank questionnaire, but then Kelly thought maybe he had talked to him a year before. I don't really know. I haven't asked because we're not, I don't want to, I don't want to, I don't want to pry. So I have not received the case at all. Now, whether I wouldn't get the case from Kelly, I don't know. But I have not, searchers' cars were tampered to as well. Yes, and I've seen other channels, searching and being threatened and everything else. So, yeah, I did talk about it before, Kitty, that I know he did submit a form that was blank a few months ago. Um, but I don't know if he resubmitted. But then Kelly thought maybe he had already talked to him a year prior. He wasn't sure. He didn't clarify, and I didn't ask him to clarify. It's not. I didn't want to get into it too deeply. It's not really for me to pry.
I've received a lot of support from everybody. Everybody that comes out to help search for my son, every business owner that allows me to put my son's flyer in their window, property owners that I get a
No
hold of and I
way.
call up, and they literally drive over to where their property is and unlock it and let us come in and search.
No
I mean,
way.
it's extraordinary, and I appreciate that 100%. When I call you up and I ask if I could go on your property, I'm not accusing you. I'm just asking because this is private property. It's yours. And the only thing I can do is ask you if it's okay if I come on it to search for my son. And I appreciate those that say yes. Those that say no, it's your prerogative to say no, but why would you try to stop me from finding my son? I'm not asking you to let me search this on my own. You can walk with me. You can come with me. Help me find my son. That
I
has been my
mean,
plea the whole
I
time. I
was
need
ready
people.
to go down there if y'all don't forget. I don't know if Reserve Glitchin' if you're still here, but I had people willing to pay for me to go down because I don't have the funds to do it on my own and drive down from Canada and go search. And I was ready to go until this started getting scary and threatening. And I was just, I don't feel safe. I don't. Yeah, well, I don't think Joe Petito would lie. I mean, I followed Gabby Petito. they actually moved to where my dad was in Vero Beach, Florida, where my dad was defrauded. Small world of all his money, because Vero Beach is a small little town in Florida. But I don't think Joe would lie about that. I really don't. So yeah, I would believe it too.
People to come help me find my son. Heads up, eyes open. He could be around the next corner.
So I know that we've talked about this toward the beginning of this. For people who are local, who want to come help, who want to come bring eyes to this with you, because there's somebody in here who just a second ago said that they're a preacher in Gallatin, and I'm sure he can get the congregation, things like that going on. Where is the best place to find
Yeah,
where
I
y'all are
just didn't
searching,
feel
how to
safe
get
to
there, how to
go,
get in
and it
touch with
was
the people who
just
are
if
organizing
people
that?
were being followed, it was
What's
just
the
getting
best way for that?
scarier
That's
and
gonna be my first
scarier.
question in regard to that.
I know, but
We're
Kitty,
meeting at one. We meet
the
there every
way
morning.
that I would have to do it, and I said this several times at the time, the way I would have to do it, or I wanted to do it, was to be at their property, to go from there. Parents are in Palm Bay next to the village. No way, Kim. Yeah. My dad and mom were on the island of Vero Beach at one point on Old Doubloon, just down on the island, right near the old sand streets that have like the cypress over the head of the water of the road right at the ocean. Yeah. And then my dad did land developments, subdivisions there. So yeah, they were there for every winter for at least 15 years. My dad, I just took him back from there not long ago.
At around 9:30 at the rudder, at the parking lot at the rudder. That's where we meet. We hand out flyers to get out people flyers. We have everybody sign in. The only reason we have people sign in is so that at the end we know
Yeah.
how many volunteers we had, so we can do a head count. So we're not missing anybody, because the last thing we want is somebody to go missing while we're searching for my son.
But
I
for
don't
me
want
to get
anybody
a
hurt or
psychic
injured.
kid, I'd want to be at the
If you don't
property,
feel comfortable doing
So
something,
a little
open your
different.
mouth and say it. You know, I try to split people up so that, they have adequate protection. There are people that literally are armed with my people.
My dad, I'm going to take some of his ashes there. That's what he wanted next winter. I really miss it there. I love it there too. It's a very special place, Vero Beach, actually. Very, very nice.
If
The
somebody
ocean, the beaches are absolutely to die for. Um, Spectacular, thick, thick, thick sand, wide beaches, really
local
nice.
to wanted to get a flyer to hang, like a business owner in their window, or obviously there's the yard signs around. Who would people contact to get that? Do you know?
If you're trying to print it out yourself, you can always go on the TBI website and print it out. If you're wanting flyers so that you can put them up so that your customers, your patrons can grab a flyer when they come in, swing by. I got stacks of them. UNC left me 10,000 flyers and we will go through them. TBI has told me that they will print out more flyers for me. I asked for 6,000 the last time I spoke to them. They were kind of like, really? And I'm kind of like, I'll take all you
Seth,
can give me.
Seth, for some reason, does not like me. I don't know. He just clearly he has zero interest in me. What I have to say, does not like me. So I doubt that would ever happen.
Because I'm not going to stop.
Uh,
I got people tearing down flyers and taking them out, and so I got to replace those too. It just means I have to double my
yeah.
efforts more than they already are.
What about the yard signs that we see? Do you know where those are at?
From my understanding, there is a gentleman by the name of Rip Wheeler that has those. I can find his information.
Okay, I can always update people with that, but I know that I'll put one in my yard.
Yeah.
I'm happy to do that. There's one actually right at the corner.
I've seen baby sharks on the beach there, and yeah, the fish is amazing. Have you ever eaten at the Tides restaurant, just across from the ocean in Vero Beach on the island? Absolutely amazing fish. The pompano is incredible, local pompano. No worries, no worries. I'm glad you're hot today. I'm glad you're hot. No kidding. Man, I'd like to go. I truly would like to go, y'all, but
My neighborhood, um, and I'm happy to pass out some flyers and some stuff too, and be out there again to help you search. Uh, So I'm glad that you've gotten good support from everybody, and I'm
I
putting the
also
address
don't
up for
think he's in
everyone.
the same
If you want to
space,
go
and
help
I think
search, if
he
you
is
are
being
local,
moved
look, you don't
around
have to come out
still,
for the
which
full
I've said
day.
before.
Lend some time, a couple hours. It's, if you have 10 people lend an hour, that's 10 hours. That's what they need. They need eyes. That's the most important thing in these searches. If you were here yesterday listening to Caleb Harris's parents, that's what they need too. Eyes. That's what Seth needs.
On your way to work, if you're an Uber driver and you're dropping people off, if you're a Pizza Hut delivery person or Papa John's or Domino's, you're delivering food. You're going everywhere. Just if you're a delivery person, period, you get out to more places. UPS drivers, FedEx drivers, anybody that's out there on the road, including law enforcement. If you're out there, I need your eyes open. Please look for my son.
I love Florida too.
So I'm going to ask you kind of a tough question, and again, you don't have to answer because
Yes,
I know this is taking an emotional toll on you, and I know this question's
crazy
going to be kind of
kitty.
like that. But the reason I'm asking it is I think that one thing that I have to remind people when you're looking at true crime, current events, things like that, that this is not entertainment. This is somebody's life. This is somebody's family. This is somebody's child, and I sometimes feel that can get lost in the shuffle. So, for whatever you're comfortable doing, saying,
Mhm.
how have you been coping with the emotional toll of his disappearance? How's it affected your life, your routine? I know you told me a story about your house.
I don't have a life.
Oh, sad.
When my life was a every other weekend or a summer break or a spring break or a fall break, that's when I had life. My life stopped when I dropped my son off at his mother's house. Then I would just work. My life began again when I picked him up on my next following Friday. I worked before I went into law enforcement. I was working at Allied, and I told them, listen, every other weekend I need off. I was like, I will work 12 days in a row, but you have to give me my every other weekend off. Don't call me to work. I'm not gonna do it. This is I will work all these days so I can have my Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with my son. That's it. My life revolved around my son. And since my son has gone missing, my life is I don't have one because my life is missing. My son is missing. My mom told me I need to clean my house. That'll help me. I can't clean my house. I can't really clean my house. I clean my kitchen. I run my dishwasher. Can't go into my son's room. He's not in there. I don't want to clean up my living room because there's magic cards all over my table. When he comes in, I want it to still be the same way, like he hasn't left. That way, when he walks into my house, he knows that he's back in his sanctuary. Routine? I don't have a routine. Let's just try to sleep every once in a while. I'll be driving and I just pull over because I get so tired I can't even focus on the road. I just pull over, give me like 30 minutes worth of sleep, and then hit the road again. There is no stop. There is no downtime. There's nothing. There's nothing but the goal of finding Sebastian.
Regarding the search and efforts and ongoing, is there anything else regarding that you'd like to share with the people that are listening, or anything else in general you want to share with the people that are listening?
Not really. I mean, I'm giving this all I got
I know.
until there's nothing left to give, and then I'll give some more. I'll find more to give.
So, like I said, as you can see, this man needs help. He needs help. So again, if you are local, I know that there are a lot of local people watching this. I know that this was shared in the groups. I've said this a couple times. Please go out and search, even if you can only do it for an hour, 30 minutes, whatever. If you can't, the Cash App scrolling across the bottom of this, the TMB Fleming, that is Seth's friend who is managing this stuff for him. Because when I tell you all this man does is search for his kid, that is literally all he does. That's all he does. He might get 30 minutes of sleep every now and then. He eats enough to kind of keep going on. So he has people that are helping him with this. And like I said, searching can be expensive. Um, So please do help. And if you can't help with your eyes,
Yep.
help monetarily, help, sharing, even if you aren't in the area, like you said, you can go to the TBI's website, download Sebastian's flyer. You can plaster it all over your social media because optics are everything in cases like this. There's a couple questions in the chat that I've gotten a lot that I want to ask. And again, you can answer whatever you don't want to answer. But a lot of questions, and I know that this is going to come up in the coming days because it's already been, so that's why I'm asking it, is in regard to the clothes that he was wearing to Texas Roadhouse. Do you know if police have it? Do you know if they're accounted for? Anything like that? Or are you not even allowed to say?
I don't. I have no idea. I mean, we're talking about. I was in that house for on and off for 3 days before it became a hostile situation. But I didn't get to see that video of Texas Roadhouse for over a month before they showed me that video. So I can't even tell you what clothes were there. That would be something that the investigators would have to actually look for.
Okay. I know people asked, and I wanted to make sure that they heard it from you. So the goal with this is to make sure that we quell rumors around it, because really, when you're searching for somebody, you want to make sure that the truth is what's out there and the truth people have, and getting it straight from you, is helpful in that situation. One thing that I want to address, I want to be very cognizant of your time because I know you're mentally and physically exhausted. But this is something that I'm going to say on my own, because again, I'm on these apps. I see comments that are made. I see what people say about people, and people can be very cruel on the internet. With some of Seth's interviews, people have tried to judge his body language, the way he holds his hands over his head or whatever. I'm telling you, think about how you would feel if you had been on your feet with limited sleep, limited food,
70 in the
an
left now.
emotional,
If we could do the
or not
thumbs
even a
up,
roller coaster, just an
everybody.
emotional dive. Plus, you injure yourself while searching. Just kind of think about that before people start giving any accusations about him, because I can tell you, I have talked to him a good bit, especially in the last few days. A lot of
I don't
creators
know, Becky.
that I know who he's talked to.
I've said this at the very beginning. I was really confused because I've channeled many people in my life, and I don't typically channel people that are alive, which is why I made the assumption Sebastian was deceased at first. But I'm not so sure anymore, and I do understand that sounds crazy, but I'm not so sure that he is deceased. I really don't think he's deceased potentially. So I'm on the fence. Like, I don't know. I think at the last vision I got with him, with the ransom, made me really feel like he's alive. Like the last vision I talked about at the beginning of this live, or was it the reading? I've got 2 readings I did this morning that are dropping tomorrow. I'll do a 7 o'clock live of Jack and Lily. Then I'd be live on Wednesday. I don't know if it's going to be Sebastian, Jack, or Lily yet. It'll be Wednesday night at 7 because I'm watching my grandson for the day. And then Thursday, Friday, we're going to just keep going. I'm going to drop a members live as well Wednesday. So, I have not ruled out the possibility, as crazy as that sounds. Yes, that I have been talking to him telepathically, and I know it sounds like a wackadoodle. I don't know. I truly don't know, but I do feel like that last vision that I got of him, that ransom was serious and that he was still alive. There was movement. He was moving. He was
Gal,
anyway.
Others that he's been with, who he's talked to, we can all tell you that this man is incredibly genuine, and the only thing he wants in the world is to find his kid. He has good reason to believe that Sebastian is still alive. So the important thing to do is find him, because
Tim, that's so good.
in
That's
these
so
situations,
nice.
time is always of the essence. And I feel personally, without you having to say this, is that once, I think how I want to word this carefully.
I know.
Once they scaled back the search, it felt like there was no more search except for what you were doing. Even with the search, when it was heavy, they didn't take, I know that they took your phone and they took Katie's phone for a long period of time. I know Chris got his phone back within a matter of hours. I know that they came in and searched the house for a couple of times. When I say search the house, I mean they came in and looked, but there's not been anything done, from my understanding, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, forensically. And I just feel that there's a lot more that can be done. I believe in the power of social media. We've seen what social media can do in a lot of different cases. And I'm probably going to not be people's favorite person when I say this, but get on law enforcement, guys. Call the Sumner County Sheriff. Start asking some of these questions. Ask them why. Because, you could bring Luminol in and see if there was, any injuries. You could see possibly where he went out. You go back to the Idaho, they were able to get a partial footprint based on this, and he had only been in the house, from what we know, one time, maybe a couple. I'm just saying that there's a lot that can be done that I don't think has been done, and this boils down to being more than just theft and a bunch of volunteers looking. You need law enforcement on this. And it's been very frustrating in Tennessee to see how law enforcement has been in some of these cases. And maybe I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, so that maybe they're not communicating everything, because they do know stuff that we don't know.
What do y'all
they know stuff
think?
that we don't know. Where the public's not
What do
entitled to
y'all
everything.
think? Let me know in the chat. Do you think law enforcement are truly looking into Sebastian's disappearance? Do you think they ever did? Do you think they are? Let me know in the chat below. What do you think? But man, someone needs to be held accountable for those CP. I know. Well, same thing with Jack and Lily. Where it's coming out now that Jack and Lily were there in December, and the kids went missing. Where? May 2nd? I mean, the same thing is going on. Ugh. Lloyd, so Lucy Lou, welcome in. So far, you guys don't think that they're really looking? No. Sadly, no. Kelly, when Kelly Snyder was on, he said that regrettably, they're not required to look if they're older than 13, which, right, by law, so very, very sad. Sad, eh? Sad, sad, sad. Yeah. So, yeah. Oh, horrible. I'd be getting, yeah, I mean, doing what Seth's doing. Dog, the bounty hunter at night, his own private investigators, F them. Not waiting around for them.
I would hope that as a parent, they would at least bring Seth in on some of that. You don't have to say anything to that. I'm just saying that. I know that I've had you for about an hour, and I know that you're exhausted. So before we wrap this up and I let you go, is there anything else that you want to talk about or convey to people? Anything else at all?
I appreciate the help, people. I really do.
I know.
I mean, I know Sumner County doesn't like me. I know I'm pretty sure the sheriff's office is tired of me, but I don't care. This is my son. I want to step on people's toes. I'm getting to that point where I'm just fed up. I'm fed up with no answers. I'm fed up with I'm law enforcement, but I'm an amateur because I'm not an investigator, and I'm seeing things that should have been done and haven't been done, and it's just it's leading to more answers. I'm sorry, it's leading to more questions that don't have answers because things weren't done like that.
Yeah.
More questions and more questions. And I haven't shared everything that I know. But the
No, I know you can't share everything you know. You can't.
I can't. Because some of that stuff that I know that have been through leads that I've gotten, I want to share. But Sebastian deserves justice, not vengeance. My son's going to have justice. And we're going to find him alive. Because if you've hurt my son, I feel sorry for you.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to cross you either in that way.
I feel like Justin really meant that when he said it, literally. I do have to say, I know you all have come at me before when I said there will be justice in this case with Sebastian Rogers. It came out again in the reading I did today, y'all. Second card out, I think it was. Unfinished Symphony. We are not done with Sebastian Rogers, which to me means we're going to find him. I mean, he will get justice. So from my friend, are you talking to me, Becky? Yeah, I don't know, man. Well, let's hope. Let's hope. Again, it's one reading, but in the vision I had, like I trust my visions. I don't say the same about the readings at 100% accuracy, but my visions that come in, I really like you can't argue a vision. It's a download. It's Sebastian was walking and he was wearing beach shorts and there is an element of travel going on. So I'm hoping and praying, y'all. I mean, I want it as much as you do, trust me. I want it as much as you, trust me, and Seth more than anybody, and Sebastian, he deserves to be
There's a
brought
couple
home.
things
But
that I wanted to make sure that we brought up before we closed out too. One, I'm going to put this here first. So if you want to add, I'm going to stop scrolling for just a moment here on the bottom. But if you want to add to Sebastian's reward fund, what's the reward up to currently, Seth?
Actually,
You
don't add anything to it current.
I'm gonna take it down because I think that this had to stop being promoted. And I know the reward the dog has is up. Y'all, do you see the figurine behind me? It's the one I was talking about that my grandmom made right here. I was talking about the other day. Just noticed he's in the background. Um, so yeah. So listen, um, I'm gonna head out because we're 2 o'clock, 2 hours into this rather. It's 6 p.m. almost Eastern. I'm gonna be on in an hour. I'm gonna recharge my headset. But Jack and Lily, where I got cut off because we lost power. I will look for the reading for tomorrow for Sebastian and Jack and Lily, and I will be back Wednesday night at 7 live. Thank you, sweetie. Thank you. I've got another one to put up that I have to repair first on the other wall. I got so much of my dad's stuff, it looks like a knick-knack shop, but I don't know what to get rid of, and it's just hard. So, uh, it's just wild. I heard. I think the people there really need to, the residents there really need to start complaining and fishing for answers. I mean, it's your community. But I don't think that law enforcement's going to be the one to find Sebastian for Seth. I think Seth is not going to be able to rely on them. I would hope that the FBI would get involved at some point, but I think they need to be asked or have just reason cause. And so, yeah, thank you. Okay, so there was a reason. Thank you for reminding me, Donna. There was a reason. So that's why I didn't want to play that. But anyways, everybody that was here and did the thummies up, I appreciate you. Thank you. And if you were here and you're new, please subscribe, click on the notification, check out the 2 readings tomorrow, and I will be back at 7 p.m. tonight in an hour. Thank you, and you as well, Lady Freedom. Okay, well, yeah, send me if you want to collaborate, we can connect. And I'm gonna reach out to Jen too if she was here earlier because I don't know what's going on there. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you in an hour for Jack and Lily. And we'll see you on the live Wednesday night at 7 and look for the 2 readings Tuesday tomorrow. Thanks for being here. Love and light. Thanks, Chris. I'll be sitting still and talking more. No worries. No worries. Thanks to, yes, all the mods. Thank you to all the beautiful moderators. We'll see everybody soon.